Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today, and I am glad. Chris Williams here. Let me introduce myself. Licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm with licensed psychologist Dr. Alice Benton.
Hi, Chris.
How you doing, Alice?
Doing great. Feeling so grateful for New Life. Weird problems coming up in our lives, and almost every one of them, I got a New Life principle to answer it and help me know what to do. Truly.
Absolutely. And again, points to our countless resources that we have for the countless struggles that we encounter. Also have Dr. Jill Hubbard.
Hello, guys.
Also licensed psychologist.
Yes.
So, Jill, my question for you, what's on your mind?
What is on my mind today? Well, today I've been thinking about sibling significance and snares. And our sibling relationships, we get a lot of calls about siblings. Mm-hmm. I know I've had my share of every form of sibling I think you could possibly have. But our siblings are one of our most significant relationships after our parents. And if you think about it, they are the people that are in our lives the longest. Yeah. Right? They are also the people that carry our history.
Yes.
Right? And they are the ones that we first learn how to negotiate life with. They're our first peers in life. So they carry a lot of significance. Consequentially, they are the most familiar people, so we filter less with them, and we easily regress with them. So I don't know if
have you seen my brother and I on the golf course?
Yes, I can say I've often had this situation myself. So often in adult life, though, with our siblings, we can have conflicts, and they can be really hurtful and problematic. And we, like I said, we get all these calls. A lot of it goes to unresolved childhood issues, and we're still trying to work out with our siblings the stuff that we didn't work out then.
Yes.
Sibling rivalry, different personalities, different perspectives on what we grew up with, power struggles, competition, family secrets, betrayal, mistrust, a lot of things that our siblings carry. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a really positive relationship with your sibling and a supportive one, I mean, that's what we all want. Good for you. Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, about 30% of sibling relationships are apathetic, estranged, or have some kind of hostility in them that needs to be worked out. I think if you feel a pull towards, like if you feel a significant love for your sibling, that if you've had a positive history, or the loss of a relationship with a sibling truly upsets you and you're feeling a pull towards them, by all means, you should work on your sibling relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? It's an important, significant. We don't choose them. We might not choose them as friends, but it's an important one to work on in life, if at all possible. But we have to realize that as we grow up, it's not the same as when we were kids.
Yes.
And there's been different influences. And just because you grew up in the same family doesn't mean you lived the same life.
That's
right?
really
Or have
important.
the same perspective.
Yeah.
And so to be able to listen to your sibling and hear what their childhood was like, I think is really important.
I think that that's a great question and a great conversation piece is how did you experience our home growing up? How did you experience our family? Because it is always remarkable that you have two people growing up in the same family, in the same household, and it's as if they grew up on different planets, you know. But I think that's a real connecting piece, and you can find out a lot more about your own history by hearing it through the eyes of your sibling. So, Jill, I think that's so important. And you are important, and we want to connect with you, and we're going to do that right after the break. We'll be right back.
5 years ago, I had been in porn addiction, and I'd had a sexual relationship out of marriage.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography. Find help today at New Life's Every Man's Battle Intensive.
That was the first time I'd ever divulged the sin that I had.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
I found a confidential comfort that was able to put a flame to a start of a healing process.
Now the intensive is coming to Washington, D.C., September 20th through the 22nd. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Thank you, New Life. They're the redeemed, man. Thank you.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. Again, we are so glad that you're with us, and we love hearing from you. We love taking your calls. We're going to go to Jose in Redlands, California, who connects with us through the app. Jose, are you there?
Yes.
Excellent, man. Well, tell us what's going on today. How can we help you?
Oh, man. So I don't even know how to say this. I want to be cognizant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of shame of speaking about this. It just makes me feel evil and ugly inside.
Yeah. Well, tell us what's going on. Yeah.
So when I was younger, I grew up, in a neighborhood that wasn't so great. My mom and my dad were separated, which I grew up on the streets because of it. I seen a lot of stuff going on, like with weapons, even in high school. And now that I'm 34 years old, I have these intrusive thoughts. Like sometimes I'll be washing the dishes at home and I'll see like a knife. And I'll say to myself, like, man, that can really hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And, or maybe I'm doing some work around the house, and I'll have like a hammer, and in high school I had a friend that was hit over the head with a hammer, and that really, I don't know if it traumatized me, but every time I pick up a hammer, that thought comes to my head.
Yeah.
And just weapons. I had a friend that was shot multiple times in front of his doorstep, so I don't keep any guns in my house at all. I just don't like weapons. I own a barber shop as well, and I don't like weapons here. And it's just, I was talking to my wife last night, and I just told her, like, hey, I got off of Zoloft, and, it was helping me with some depression and getting in recovery, and I've been in a great spot, by the grace of God, because of this program. I really love you guys a lot. You guys have helped my marriage in so many ways. And I just appreciate you guys, and it's just this intrusive thought. I was talking to my wife last night about it, and I just told her I don't want to like getting off of Zoloft. So my question is I've gotten off of Zoloft for about a week and a couple days, and I'm having these intrusive thoughts, and I was telling my wife,
have the intrusive thoughts increased since stopping Zoloft?
Yes.
Okay. That's super helpful for us. Yeah.
Jose, you are not evil, and what you're sharing with us is actually so understandable. All you're doing, Jose, is describing a hardwired association, meaning these weapons or these tools were paired with stories, and some of them horrific, like your friend, and so they got hardwired into your brain to have the meaning of violence. So it's just that your brain learned that that's what these things mean. And Jose, that the brain is malleable, which means that those associations, they can be reworked to no longer hold so much power for you anymore. I'm going to give you a quick example. I've worked with folks who were abused, and their abuser had a certain cologne. And that smell of cologne or anything close to it makes them almost throw up because it is hardwired that the cologne means something evil. Well, that's a strange reaction to just have to a smell, but not when they went through what they went through. And so likewise, your reaction is because of your experience, Jose, and your willingness to talk about it. Oh, it shows the work you've been doing in your recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it sounds like, Jose, you saw way too much at such a young age while your brain is still forming. So these things have happened and have been overwhelming to you. And you must be feeling at a somewhat safer place in life for this to all be coming up now. And as it gets hardwired in, there's also this kind of OCD feel to it, where we have the intrusive thoughts and they keep coming at us. And that's what some of the Zoloft was keeping at bay. So I think it will be interesting to see that if you go another, couple weeks off the Zoloft, do they subside? Is this part of you coming off of the Zoloft? Or do they increase? Because that will be important diagnostically.
Absolutely. Just to reinforce, Jose, you are not your thoughts. None of us are our thoughts. We would all be in way more trouble than we're already in if we were our thoughts, right?
That's all we were, yes.
Yes, absolutely. And people, and I know this is a little bit of apples and oranges. This is not a true equivalency, but it's a reflection. People who are getting, for instance, recovery from sexually acting out will have really sometimes horrific, intrusive thoughts that can be very intense and even overwhelming. And obviously, what we want to be able to do is have supports and tools and skills in our life where those thoughts do not turn into action.
Well, and see, Jose, you're taking those thoughts, and then the meaning you're giving to them is that you're evil and bad.
Yeah.
Good
and
point,
so
Joe.
we have to unhook that. These are thoughts, and it's like, oh, there's that thought again. Oh, that's something that I experienced. Oh, I was powerless in that situation. When I saw those things were thrusted into my world, just like the thoughts are intruding now. It's a replay for you of that trauma that you went through. So I think it would be really important for you to also get into some therapy along with the psychopharmacology that you're trying.
Jose, I've had death wish thoughts for people in my life. Honestly, I have. And I just felt so ashamed. What's the matter with me that I would have that thought? I can't believe I would sink that low. Well, I suspect, and I didn't even go through anywhere near the trauma you went through. I suspect, one, the enemy was active and trying to tempt me to think a certain way. And maybe some greed got in there as well, some greed that I can truly own is mine. So what I did with that thought, I wanted to just keep it a secret. I don't want anybody to know I thought that way. What will they think of me? But instead, I chose to confess it to some trustworthy people and to work through why might I have come to this thought. Well, there were some reasons why. There was some hurt, some pain, some anger that were underlying those thoughts. And then I went into spiritual warfare against it in case it was the enemy adding to the temptation, so that I rebuked it, I prayed against it, I confessed it, because I want to have loving thoughts to the people around me. And it was by the repetition of all those actions, and I've taken Zoloft too, my friend, that helped to calm those down. And if they ever do come up, because sometimes they still will, it's easy for me to bat them away now. They're not my thoughts. I take ownership. We're called to take our thoughts captive, but it's an ongoing work in progress kind of a battle for us.
Absolutely. So, Jose, here's what we want you to do. First and foremost, we want you to go back to the doctor who prescribed Zoloft, and I want you to talk to him or her about what's going on. Make sure that they're included in your process. Also, I can't encourage you enough to get into trauma therapy. Okay, because that's what's driving a lot of the intensity of the feelings and the shame around the thoughts. And hopefully over time, with good therapy, those thoughts can start being relieved. And so we know that can and does occur. And to Jill's point, there is some possible other obsessive and obsessive compulsive type of things going on here that you just want to keep in the light of a good helping professional. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to do, is to help you find relief from not just your past, but what's going on currently. We're going to send you a copy of Changes That Heal, Jose, and really encourage you to stay in the process of your healing journey and take it to a next step further. And we can't be encouraged enough about you entrusting your life, your recovery, your growth to us. And that is honestly the joy of our heart, to be able to come alongside of remarkable people like yourself, Jose. One last thing is, as you are not your thoughts, you are also not your past either. So we really do, as to piggyback on what Alice was saying, claim that it is for freedom that Christ has set us free, and we want to continue on that journey. So, Jose, thank you so much for calling in today. And we're going to go right back to the phone. We're going to go to Dee, listening in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on WFIL. Dee, how's it going today?
Good, thanks.
Good. Well, tell us what's going on.
I just wanted your advice about our adult daughter. She was a very high achiever in high school, but as soon as she was faced with going off to college, which she was looking forward to, we thought she went into a deep depression for a couple of years. That's now 7 years ago. Wow. The journey has been really challenging for all of us because it was just out of the blue. But 2 years after she graduated, she came out of that depression. She has some nutritional supplements that seem to help. And she went into kind of a manic, super energized phase where there was lack of impulse control and things like that. She's gone to counseling, biblical counseling, connected with a really great counselor this spring when she was in one of these up phases, and really loved her, was working a lot and witnessing a lot and just overflowing with energy. But since May, she's just been in this deep depression again, where she feels like she can't handle life. Her future's a black hole. This cycle's never going to end. And now she doesn't want to go anywhere. She used to get together with her family. She has a close relationship with her siblings, but now she doesn't want to. Yes.
Dee, so have you had her evaluated for bipolar disorder?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because that has come to our attention recently, and my counselor, who I was going to as well, gave us a good Christian psychiatrist name. But my daughter doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to go out of her bedroom. Yeah. I don't know how to get her there.
Yeah.
Do you think she would would she take a call from the psychiatrist's office? Would she start an evaluation while staying in her room?
Well, she doesn't want to even see her siblings, and she's very close to her siblings, but they come over and she just kind of hides. So
she's just overwhelmed by fear and wanting to isolate
anybody.
Okay. Do you have any leverage with her, Dee? Is she living in your home?
She is.
And is she depending on you financially or for you to support her in other ways as well?
Well, yeah, because she's living at home, and that's my other question is, are we enabling this? But, our Christian counselor said, well, maybe you could set up certain standards. She needs to do this, that, and the other. But I'm like, but how do I enforce it?
But Dee, if she's truly bipolar, it's a biochemical disorder, and you're describing the long phases. She had a 2-year depression, and then you talk about her energy in such a way that sounds more like a manic phase, and now she's back in a depression. And so I think you and her dad, is her dad around?
Yes.
And maybe some of her siblings need to come around her and say, we're seeing this pattern in you, sweetheart, and it's time to get help. Because it's not going to go away. And I think this is a case where someone isn't able to help themselves, because depression says, I just want to hide. I need to just isolate myself, okay? But that's part of the mental illness. And often they don't want to get help. Certainly in the manic phase, they love the mania.
Oh, yeah.
And in the depressive phase, they don't want to leave the house. So I think you have to force the issue and have enough people around you that love and care for her that say it's time.
Yeah, I think that that's really important because, as you said, this bipolar and
it's not her fault.
Not at all. And there's no need to punish, but there is a desperate need to help. And so, Dee, thank you for calling in. We're going to come back after the break, and we're going to set up a few things that you can do with your daughter to get her the help that she needs, even in her highly resistant state. Again, we appreciate you calling in because I don't believe you're the only one struggling with this issue, and we're going to come back, tackle it right after this.
When you give to the New Life Scholarship Fund, you're giving someone hope for a brighter future.
I was kind of in the closet and hid with my struggle. Your donation really made the difference, especially in my situation, because I would have getting laid off from my job.
At the New Life Intensives, hurting people are able to begin a new path towards healing and freedom that has an effect on all of those around them.
I think the people who support New Life financially are people that I'll never know. I'll never be able to thank them personally for the gift that they gave to us. Their giving saved me, my husband, and our family from being torn apart.
To help hurting people to connect to the help they need, make your gift to the Scholarship Fund at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE and specifying scholarships.
Someone called and sponsored me to come this weekend. Whoever that is, just know that you saved a life. Literally, you saved my life. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today. It's myself, Chris Williams, Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Jill Hubbard, and Dee. Dee is dealing with a really, really difficult situation. We are so sorry for this because this is really challenging. Some of the most difficult situations that we come across are people struggling with a little bit higher end or more severe mental health issue that becomes really resistant to any help.
Well, and it emerges in this stage of life.
That's right.
Often in the early 20s.
Yes, yeah.
We see mental illness come onto the scene.
Yeah, so Dee, we see that this does unfortunately fit a pattern that is common with especially those who struggle with bipolar disorder. And we also know that it comes with a lot of resistance. So here's what I want to the direction I want to send you today. Alice was alluding to this. You actually have a lot of leverage here. Your daughter's living in your home, financially, and it sounds even relationally dependent upon you, but she has fallen into the depression, into a helpless, hopeless state. And so what I would recommend is reaching out to mental health interventionists. When we think of interventionists, we primarily think of addiction. But that's not the only ones out there. There are some that deal really, really well with mental health that can get the family on board to develop a plan so that your daughter can get the help that she needs.
Right. Trying to do behavioral interventions with her, setting up contracts, getting her to do things, that's not going to help right now.
It's going to be pretty ineffectual.
Yeah.
And in bipolar disorder, her what we call episodes seem to last a really long time, which can make it really tricky. Yeah. But what is most important is to understand that this is a severe medical condition that needs medical help. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we have vetted interventionists in our New Life network, so we can connect you with specialists.
Absolutely. And I want to encourage you as well, Dee, to get connected with other families, other parents who also are struggling with their own children with bipolar disorder. Mm-hmm. So the National Alliance of Mental Illness, known as NAMI, has a lot of groups out there for family support that people that are going through this.
Chris, do we have our book, Understanding and Loving a Person with Bipolar?
You know what? We don't, but we do have Understanding and Loving Your Child with ADHD, even though that would be a little bit different than this.
Yeah, it would be.
But I also want to send you the Life Recovery Bible. And the reason for the Life Recovery Bible is because we learned the first step as family members that we are powerless against our child's mental health issue. And as a result, our life is unmanageable. But then we can move forward in our life with this really difficult situation. So, Dee, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in today. And we will be wishing and praying you well on this journey for your daughter to get the help that she needs. There is another powerless situation that a lot of guys can find themselves in, and that is powerlessness against stopping their sexual acting out behavior and sexual destructive behavior. I know this struggle all too well, and I am so grateful for programs like Every Man's Battle out there, that we do not have to stay in a powerless state, that there are resources, help, and there is a pathway and process to recovery. And in fact, if you're a pastor out there, which that happened to actually be my story back in my 20s, was a pastor who was struggling with addiction to pornography. And that for me was this double-edged shame sword that cut right through me and led to deeper isolation and deeper shame. And we get this testimony from a pastor who is a chaplain and minister in Dallas. He says this: I knew what it meant to be sexually pure, but I didn't know how to be sexually pure. Because of Every Man's Battle, I finally understood the root of my sexual sin and the process I go through in my acting out. I left the workshop with a group of guys that are in the battle just like I am, and we are battling this together. We are meeting through New Life's Sustained Victory program, as well as meeting once a week around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex to have face-to-face fellowship and accountability as well. When my wife told me about Steve Arterburn's New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop, I was upset, I was disgusted, and didn't even want to listen to her. Now I am so thankful to God that He softened my heart to listen. If you are a minister and are struggling with sexual integrity, my plea to you is this: listen to God, swallow your pride, open your heart. Amen, brother. Absolutely. After attending this workshop, you will never be the same in neither your spouse, your family, or your ministry. This I can't overemphasize enough. If this is a struggle in your life, there will never be the perfect time to get into recovery. The only perfect time is right now. So do this right now. Every Man's Battle Intensive is coming up September 20th in Washington, D.C. And you'll want to jump on it right away because the early bird rate ends tomorrow, Friday, September 6th. So don't stop, don't delay. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200 right now. Register today. If you are married to or have a loved one who is struggling in this area of sexual integrity, pass this information along. There is a solution. You do not have to stay in the problem. Again, September 20th in Washington, D.C. Once again, early bird rate ends tomorrow. The other thing I want to mention, we do not ever want finances to be a barrier. If finances are a struggle to get to the workshop, give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and we have need-based scholarships available for those, again, who are in need of it. So no barrier can keep you from being there. Make the choice. We'll be back right after this.
I'm addicted to oxycodone. I've been on oxycodone almost 3 years.
Addiction affects millions of people every year.
I've been on it for a long time, and I need to get off.
New Life can connect you with some of the finest Christian inpatient treatment programs in the country that work with people from all backgrounds and beliefs.
First, it was for back pain, and I was on it for a long time. And then I currently just had shoulder surgery.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction to illegal or prescription drugs, alcohol, or dealing with an eating disorder, it's time to seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers all around the country.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
You know, I'm so thankful because, you know why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And you know one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying, so my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We are so glad that you are with us today, and we are also glad that Deborah is with us today. She is listening in Dallas, Texas on KWRD. Deborah, how's it going today?
Oh, pretty good. I got a text to call in, which I've never gotten, so I don't know what's going on here, but kind of interesting.
Well, yes.
We needed to talk to you. That's what's going on, Deborah. Thanks for responding.
Maybe you're taking our call today.
Yes. Which one of you texted Deborah?
Deborah, help me out.
What's going on in your life, Deborah? Is there something we can help you with?
Well, I'm married to a man who loves God and who basically emotionally abandons me because he doesn't have a clue how to form healthy emotional bonds. And I think that comes from the childhood trauma and rejection as a latchkey kid and with two parents that just were not adequate to form that kind of bond with him and who actually were not good actors basically in his life. And when we discuss it, at first it made me angry because I thought it was coming from rejection, but then after a while I learned that I could see the fear and the failure he felt. And I believe he wants to get it right, but I just don't think he knows how.
Have you guys done anything? Have you done like couples counseling or read books together?
His ex-wife really poured that kind of stuff on his head, which just drove him deeper into that feeling of rejection. And we did approach the subject of possibly going to some type of workshop or something like that. I don't want to protect him from his trauma and getting the healing that sometimes is painful that you need. But I also don't want to add to his trauma by, repeating the past that just added to it. So I think he's adult and responsible to take care of it, and he knows that he has to do something because I've kind of gave him a mandate that, we have to fix this. We can do this God's way or not do it at all.
So, Deborah, I have a curiosity because you said I kind of gave him a mandate. So kind of and mandate don't go very well together. So when you talk to him, what did it sound like?
I just, because of his manner and way he is with the Lord, I went from that angle and said, we really have to do marriage God's way. And I feel abandoned and lonely. And sometimes I feel like I'm outside of your life. And that can't continue.
Okay, good.
Good.
I like it.
And did you give him if it does continue, I will fill in the blank?
Well, what I said, I'm willing to work with you in any way because of his ex-wife, any way that we can find to work together, but I'm not willing to continue feeling the way I feel. And we will have to do something that repairs this.
Is divorce or separation implied in all for you, or is that what you're thinking if he won't cooperate with you?
I told him I didn't want a divorce, but that I couldn't continue living in the pain I feel.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that
I
makes
would
sense.
have to separate.
How did he respond?
Well, that's where you just kind of see this wounded little kid. He doesn't cry. He just kind of feels like he deserves it or it's coming. Like he doesn't know how to solve it, so he doesn't do anything. If I felt like there was guile or malice, this would be a different conversation.
Yeah, but he kind of goes into a shutdown mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you asked him, so after you said that to him or any follow-up, have you asked him how that felt to him to have you say those things?
He feels like he gets all the blame.
Okay, because I love the way you said it to him, Deborah. And I wonder, because you're seeing the hurt, wounded boy, I might even tell him that. And that you have an awareness that some of what you're asking of him, he has no clue about and was never taught.
I also have another question, Deborah. Has he struggled with pornography, sexual acting out, or alcohol, any kind of medicators or addictive issues?
He had to struggle with pornography in his first marriage, and he hasn't struggled really with anything.
Wow.
And one of the things that I, told him was that this isn't about blaming. This is about a problem that needs a solution.
Okay,
and
so let me
we are married.
Let me jump in. How did he find freedom from his pornography issue?
It cost him his family and marriage, and he sought after God.
Okay, so here's the thing. I got to jump in here. Okay, so Deborah, he hasn't done anything about it.
But stop, which is important.
He stopped the behavior.
But hear Chris, though. Hear Chris.
Yeah, and I'd be honestly surprised if he stopped the behavior, to be quite frank. Now, not saying he can't, not saying he didn't. But if he stopped the behavior, what's driving all of that behavior in the first place hasn't been resolved. One of the talks I do around, sexual addiction or especially pornography is it creates emotional deafness, the inability to hear or experience your own or other people's emotions. And it's usually getting drowned out by shame, and you can see his what we call the shame wash. When you confront him on something, it washes over him and he goes into, he doesn't have a fight response. He has a freeze response, then a flight. And so I want to honor your abandonment in that process.
Painful.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that we are together 9% of the time, except when we're both at work. I have access to everything.
Okay.
Digital and everything, and I believe that it cost him so much, and that he is so afraid of making that mistake again.
That makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
What can happen if somebody stops their problematic behavior, but they don't get recovery? Is they're like a dry drunk who's usually somebody that's either irritable or very shut down. And so whatever that underlying issue still is for him, that's what we're concerned about. And that's what you're obviously concerned about too. You know that part of him still needs help, even though he's not using pornography, which is, we applaud that.
Yeah.
So I want to help you with the way he gets the reactivity, that he gets all the blame. I think something might happen on your side of the pattern, Deborah. I think you might become hesitant to say anything because you don't want to re-wound him, which is a good desire that you have and a good intention that you have. But then if you wait too long to say anything, I think you might make big, strong statements like mandates, because you can't sustain not saying anything at all. So what I would try to do is to go back to say, you, husband, are not all to blame. I have a pattern in this too, and I don't know how to speak up about it in a loving, kind way. Either I say nothing, or perhaps I say something that comes across too strong to you. So I need help with this too. You beautifully said it's our problem, and I want you to go back to that. I want to reiterate it's our problem. This is one of my parts to the problem. So I'm going to get counseling, and I really want you to come with me and help me choose the counselor. But I know that I need to get help in this, so I'm going to go anyhow, and I really want you to come with. If you said that to him, how do you think he'd respond?
Well, I did tell him that I could be the problem. I said, we don't know. If we can't identify the problem, someone outside of us is going to have to help us pinpoint it.
Okay. And have you yet scheduled an appointment and invited him to come to the literal appointment, something concrete like that?
Well, that's one of the problems of where we live. There are 5,000 Christian counselors, but not all have a biblical worldview. And, some of it is not
so Deborah,
exactly what we want.
Yeah, so Deborah, let me jump in. You don't need a counselor in your marriage with a really lockstep, strong biblical worldview. Okay? Because what I hear in that is defense mechanisms.
Yeah, I think of it more for him because of
swing of the a Christian worldview is one thing.
Yes.
Expecting it to be all about Bible verses in the session is another.
Or aligned, directly with mine. Or completely with mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't wait for it to be too perfect of a situation, Deborah. I think you might be protecting his woundedness in a way that is leaving you a little bit passive too. Not entirely, but you're waiting to act because you're being so protective of him.
So his wounding, Deborah, is the problem, to Alice's point. And so by protecting that problem, the problem just gets to be increased. So here's what here's what we want you to do. I want you to set this up. I want you to tell your husband, I don't want you to ever have to experience the pain you did in your first marriage. I want this one to be different. And I'm here to help you and me experience something very different, but we need help. We're going to go to couples counseling, and we're going to identify somebody, and we're going to start getting into the work. We're also going to attend Intimacy in Marriage in Dallas, right? I said Dallas, right down the street. It's October 5th. Yeah. Don't miss out on that opportunity. Lean into the solution. We need to stop coddling the problem. So, Deborah, we honor you in that and want to encourage you in that, and we're going to be back right after this.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for over 34 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family, or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step towards genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow. Call 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back to New Life Live. We're so glad that you're with us. We were just talking with Deborah, and I had said that the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is in Dallas on October 5th. I meant 25th.
Yes.
So it is October 25th in Dallas. Deborah, we're also going to send you a copy of How We Love. And just, again, encourage you and challenge you to lean into a better marriage. And oftentimes it requires what I call touching the pain. We want to avoid it, but there's only one way to get to the other side, and that's through it. So we encourage you in that. We're going to go right back to the phones. We're going to go to Heather, listening in Savannah, Tennessee on WDNX. Heather, how's it going today?
Well, I'm hopeful.
Well, we're hopeful too. We can join each other in that.
Well, I have called many times, and I had a lot of medical issues that were complicated by a lot of emotional weaknesses, and I went to an intensive natural treatment program for 11 days, and I've been so excited about being converted and being healthy. I've overwhelmed myself with trying to help everybody.
Yes.
I need some help in learning how to conduct the rest of my life. The Lord is coming soon. I want to be able to moderate my, help to other people so that I don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I guess I need permission to just know what somebody needs and not offer it all the time.
Here's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to give you permission to not be Jesus. Okay. So I'm going to give you permission.
I tell myself that all the time.
That's great.
You already knew, Heather.
Listen, the job description's fulfilled, and so we don't have to worry about that one anymore. But yes.
But I love your enthusiasm. When we all find something that works, it's like we want to share it with everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
The problem is it took us a while to get to that place, to accept the help. And it also takes other people getting to that place as well. So they don't always want to hear it, Heather. And so sometimes it's showing restraint. Coming alongside somebody means you don't get out ahead of them farther than they are. You stand beside them and you let them be where they're at. And when they're ready or when they ask, you offer the information that you have.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Heather, I want you to check your history to see what might fuel your need to be helpful to everyone. And sometimes it's because we're people pleasers, which I am. I want people to be happy with me. Sometimes we grew up with a difficult family and we were the ones that brought the solutions to the family problems. So exploring that will help you figure out, why do I feel the need to help everybody? Is there anything that I'm trying to fix within myself or my family of origin by doing so? And lastly, I want you to hold on to a question. When people tell you about their problems, I hope you'll ask them, what do you want from me? Or what do you need from me? Wait to hear their answer, because helpers jump to give solutions or offer their services without even being asked. Then, if they give you an answer to what do you need from me, I want your default to be, okay, I'll consider that, so that you put a little space in between hearing people's needs and deciding whether or not you're the one to answer that need.
Excellent.
Oh, that's really good. I love that, Alice. Yeah. Because the best help is the help that they're looking for. You know, and it's interesting. You know, all three of us are therapists. We see clients. And I can speak for myself. I may be able to speak for you guys. Is that sometimes we have to give people what they want, able to build the trust to give them what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that question I love that question that Alice was having you ask is, what do you need from me? I think that's good for all of us as we're hearing people's difficult stories and challenges and situations of, what can I do for you?
And it's surprising how many people will say, I actually don't need anything. I just
Right.
wanted to be heard.
Yes.
That's
I need
often
you to hear
the
me.
solution.
Yeah. That's excellent. Well, Heather, we are so grateful that you have made significant breakthrough in your healing, in your growth, and to piggyback on Jill, we love your enthusiasm.
Yes.
You know, and that's sort of the enthusiasm we want around here. You know, is that if you're listening out here and something that we have said here or one of our New Life resources could be of help to other people, don't hesitate. Please share it. And of course, if they answer with, well, can you lead me to a resource? Well, as a matter of fact, I can. And so check out New Life Live or go to newlife.com. But Heather, we're going to send you a copy of Steve Arterburn's book, Take Your Life Back, and just really encourage you on your healing and health journey as you find more and more fulfillment in Christ. And we're going to go back to the phones. We're going to try to get one more call in today. We're going to go to Ann in Denver, Colorado. And Ann, how's it going?
Hi, I'm so happy to be able to talk to you guys.
We're happy too. We only have a few minutes here, so if you can get to a question we can help you with.
Sure. I would like to know how I can calm myself when I'm getting anxious. I tend to get anxious over things that my mind, I start thinking of things that what if this, what if that, and then it goes to like I get really nervous and I get anxious.
Yeah.
So is there anything you can suggest on how I can, not get to that point where it's like getting, ruminating thoughts in my head and anxiousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, Anne, you've been through this enough where you see it playing out. So when we start to go down a familiar pattern and it leads to spiraling, I mean, first of all, anxiety is that worry and fear about the future, right? And it also can feel like we're not going to be okay. So it's really important to just behaviorally ground ourselves in the present. Start with your breathing. Slow down your breathing, because when we get anxious, we start to have shorter breaths. And then ground yourself in the present. Be aware of what's around you: sight, smell, sounds, touch, all of your senses. It's like, I'm right here, I'm right now, everything is okay right now. You remind yourself of that. And also that anxious, obsessive thinking, it's like that hamster wheel. And you have to also remind yourself, there's that part of my brain that's starting to go on the hamster wheel. And to see it almost as not outside of you, but it's a part of you. It's not all of you. And it's like, okay, we need to rein things back in. And sometimes less is more. And so we need to deal with what we can control today and let tomorrow's worries worry about themselves.
That's really good.
And I'm a sister in this battle with you. Anxiety is my thorn in the side, too. So 2 more things in addition to what Jill said. You and I, we need comfort from people with whom we can bounce these ideas off, our what ifs, and so that they can soothe us and help us to get back to that reality. And then by taking our thoughts captive and replacing them with what God says about worry, I want you to look up Matthew 6:34. It doesn't fix it immediately, but it's by putting all these things into practice over time that we get relief.
It's so frustrating because these sticky, anxious thoughts are so stubborn.
Yeah, they are.
And
they can completely overtake us.
Yeah, overtake us. So we're going to send you a copy also of Every Believer's Thought Life. And hopefully that encourages you. But to that point, Alice, these things take practice. They take time. And I also want to encourage you and to check out our Courage to Change online conference. It's going to be October 5th, and there might be some underlying issues in your life that are driving some of these thoughts that you want to check out to see if you can resolve them so the thoughts become less often, less intense, and more manageable. So, Ann, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for calling in. Everyone else, thank you for listening to us. We are also going to be here tomorrow, so check in, listen in. We would love for you to be a part of our life, to be a part of our ministry, and to be a part of God's solution.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Thanks for watching today. We love helping people. I hope you sense that. And we know that there's always hope if you find the right resource. Now, if something we've said to somebody else applies to you, that's fantastic. That's what we're hoping for. But also, if you want to join us directly, you can call 1-800-229-3000 between 1 and 3 Eastern Time, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. Those are the best times to get through. And while you're here on YouTube, check out these other videos that we've done to help people see where they could grow or a different path to take. And if you do that, would you give us a thumbs up on the video, and please subscribe to this channel. There are many ways that we can help you outside of the radio program, and it's very hard for some to pick up a phone and dial 1-800-NEW-LIFE. But when you do, we put you in touch with somebody who cares about you, knows all the resources out there, and they're going to find the best for you. There is no reason to struggle alone. I hope to see you tomorrow. Hope you'll invite somebody else to come and join that maybe needs just a little bit of help along the way. I'll see you next time.